Facebook is you have to make sure the chat is visible. Once it's visible, you can then close it. It's still there in the background capturing it, but it's now hidden. And you can pause the video in most cases. If you're worried about CPU load, you can pause the video and then close it. And the chat in most cases continues on. The next site I want to look at is TikTok. It is a little bit special. So let's go into that. It's popular as well. Much like the other sites, you can enter just a username. Usually you can use @ or doesn't matter if it has @ or not. I've checked to see if this user is live streaming at the moment, so it's just someone I notice on TikTok Live right now. I'll activate them, and as we can see, the live chat is on the right side here, and we are capturing TikTok messages now. So all those messages are being captured, and they're appearing in SocialStream Ninja. We can of course pause the video if we want to, and then close it. There's a mute button here also that will automatically pause or unpause, mute and unmute the video if needed as well. For some people, TikTok doesn't want to work, or maybe TikTok changes their code and it stops working. The help menu lists some options that you can do, like clearing your cache, try signing in with an account, or try signing in with a different account. There's also something called WebSocket mode. So I'm going to stop it and I'm going to switch to WebSocket mode. I click the little gear icon, I select on a browser. It will list all the sources that we're using. And on the left-hand side is a list. Hey everyone, in this video I am demonstrating how to create your own custom overlay for SocialStream Ninja. Your own chat overlay, your streaming chat page, your own design, your own whatever. Let's get going. We will go to the GitHub code repo where all the code is stored. And I'll first mention that there's a folder called themes. This will give us an example of what we'll be building. You can create your own custom layouts, your own custom themes. There's a variety here with a lot of instructions on how to use them. So there's types of layouts, the benefits of certain types, how to deploy, how to address problems. All the details here are available. I would actually recommend you read this if you're interested in all the different methods. We will be using, however, a template called sample overlay. Now, if we open it, we just get the code. But we can check out what it looks like out by opening our normal doc page, doc.html, and our session ID. We can just take sample overlay, replace the word doc, and then we can send some test messages. So it's the same link as this, but we just replaced doc with sample overlay. It's important that we have our session ID listed. That can be found here. That tells the page what chat messages to essentially show. So what we want to do in this example is we want to use AI to create custom CSS style sheets. Menu baked into the application. So Lo-Fi Girl, they're always on, is a channel name, not a username. Sometimes there's a conflict between usernames and channel names. TikTok site isn't focus. It's also a way to enable a local and the message which you can get from here. And it's like a browser, but SocialStream Ninja is baked in as part of it. So we can go here and in the asset dropdown, we can download SocialStream for our specific platform, Linux, Mac. If you have an ARM-based Mac and M1, M2, M3, you can download the ARM-based version. For Intel Macs, older laptops, you can get the x64 version.
But it's a great... What I want to do now is if I click up here where the extension, those in more depth on the show today, but essentially the big one, and let me just go. So at the moment, there's not much happening. Bring in, you know, some, if that person who has back here, and again, so I'm gonna put it on the left-hand side. I'm gonna try, if I go back to Chrome, we've got the streaming chat dockable, and we've got a URL here. I'm gonna blur out the last little bit of this URL because this is a unique URL. Don't share this URL with anyone unless they're actually part of your production team. And what I wanna do is I'm gonna go up to Docs, and we're going to do a custom browser doc, and I'll call it SocialStream Ninja. I mean, you can call it whatever you like, and just paste that URL in and click apply. And you'll see this new doc will appear over here. We're going to, so it's asking, do you want to allow public and private networks to access this app? I'm just going to say allow, because it's just my firewall doing its thing. I'm going to put that over there and click close. So it's kind of defaulted at the top of the screen, which is not a particularly great place to have the chat. So I'm going to put it on the left-hand side. I'm going to drag this out a little bit so you can see what's happening here. So at the moment, there's not much happening in our chat, but potentially, if I go back to our extension, I can hit a button that says trigger a fake test message, and I'll do that maybe 3 or 4 times. And now if we go back here, you'll see that we've got a whole bunch of test messages. So we know that's working. Now, one thing you can actually do with that same URL is have all the chat messages on your screen. So I personally don't love this because there's always the danger that somebody will say something offensive or they'll just be spamming you in the comments, and we don't really want to encourage that. We don't want that to be embedded into our video for the rest of the time. But just to show you how it is possible to do this, if we go to our sources, hit the plus button there to add a new source, we'll go to browser. Again, I'll call this all chat. With that, I'm going to copy open 1920 by 1080 just to see what that looks like. And what we don't like, we're going to Chrome. We've got the streaming chat dockable, and we've got a URL here. I'm going to blur out the last little bit of this URL because this is a unique URL. Don't share this URL with anyone unless they're actually part of your production team. And what I want to do is I'm going to go up to Docs, and we're going to do a custom browser doc, and I'll call it SocialStream Ninja. I mean, you can call it whatever you like, and just paste that URL in and click apply. And you'll see this new doc will appear over here. We're going to, so it's asking, do you want to allow public and private networks to a background to work with anyone? And what I want, and I'll call it SocialStream with anyone unless they're actually a doc. And I'll call it SocialStream Ninja. I mean, you can call it whatever you like, and just paste that URL in and click apply. And you'll see this new doc will appear over here. We're going to, so it's asking, do you want to allow public and private networks to access this app? I'm just going to say allow, because it's my firewall doing its thing. I'm going to put that over there and click close. So it's kind of defaulted at the top of the screen, which is not a particularly great place to have the chat. So I'm going to put it on the left-hand side. I'm going to drag this out a little bit so you can see what's happening here. So at the moment, there's not much happening in our chat, but potentially, if I go back to our extension, I can hit a button that says trigger a fake test message, and I'll do that maybe 3 or 4 times. And now if we go back here, you'll see that we've got a whole bunch of test messages. So we know that's working. Now, one thing you can actually do with that sort of chat, they're back. Let me just trigger a few more fake messages. You might want to give it a different name.
I think it's extremely important that you include trolled. But first, this video stream. First, let me remind you that Social Stream Ninja alone on Linux for them don't have any more trouble. Let's back the comments on lights, and on the left we see in the this Stream Ninja on it. And as you can see, the YouTube it's to our favorite links and settings. I find this first link where all the unified chat is. Let's click on it. And as you can see, the YouTube, Kik, and TikTok chats are being joined in this window. A window that I'm going to take to OBS Studio in a few moments, but I also see that I have the number of people connected on each of these social networks. Now let's see how this change has been made. Let's minimize it for a moment, and we'll see that below this link where the entire chat is, there's a way to customize this chat. Personally, what I've done is just ask the overlay to make the font, icons, etc. a little smaller, although there are many more changes that one can make. And I've also asked it to show me, as you saw it a moment ago, the number of people connected in the upper right-hand corner. If we go a little further down, here in visibility, I've told it to hide the avatars and the time when the comments appear because I think that's irrelevant data. And in styling, I've asked it to show it to me in compact mode. Those changes that one makes are going to be reflected. Let's go up in new commands here in the link. In other words, this link is going to change as you make changes. If you make a change like this, for example, a little more text will be added to the link. I'm going to remove it. So first you make the changes, and then you're going to take the links to OBS Studio. Let's chat tarot. Live broadcasts, or I could also click on auto activate here so that it activates automatically as soon as I open the program. The next option would be to search, have to find the specific name of my streaming. For example, right now this gossip, although the program will automatically open the chat window for me. After doing this, I'm going to press activate source, which means activate source. The program will automatically open the chat window for me. It will no longer be necessary for me to have the chat window open. I'm going to close it, and that's it with the following social networks: Twitch, Kik, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We would only have to add the username. Let's go to TikTok, for example. And as an example, I've also entered this live broadcast of Vegeta Diamantero. I just have to copy the username and go back to Social Stream Ninja to paste just the name, which could be with or without it. I press activate source. The window opens, but it opened on the other screen. That's why it can't be seen. And here we can press mute. Let's take another stream, because I remind you that Social Stream Ninja unifies all the chats. Imagine that this is your live. You're going to look for your username here. You click where I window that I'm going to take to OBS Studio in the chat and the highlight things. I find this first link where all the unified chat is. Let's click on it. And as you can see, to take that chat, you go to paste just the name, which could be with or without it. I press activate source. The window opens, but it opened on the other screen. That's why it can't be seen. And here we can press mute. Let's take another stream, because I remind you that Social Stream Ninja unifies all the chats. Imagine that this is your live. You're going to look for your username here. You click on copy. You go back to Social Stream Ninja, click on Kik usernames and paste the name of your live channel. You click OK and click on activate source again. We have the chat again. We're going to close it, right? Don't worry, we're halfway there. We've already told social stream click have the chat window open. Broadcast of Vegeta Stream Ninja to paste just Twitch, Kitgram, and hit their name, and here it will only be necessary to enter the name of our channel so that we only do this procedure once. For example, the exact name of my YouTube channel is Lights Camera Learn. This is the exact name. For example, I could just copy the name, go back to this first option, hit Ctrl V and hit OK. It immediately recognizes my channel, and if I had a live broadcast right now, which I don't, we could click on Select Live Sources. It tells me that there are none at the moment, but the next time I had a live broadcast right now, which I don't, we could click on Select Live Sources. It tells me that there are none at the moment, but the next time I do a streaming I can simply click on Select Live Broadcasts, or I could also click on Auto Activate here so that it activates automatically as soon as I open the program. The next option would be to search for a specific video from my YouTube channel. In this case I would have to find this. No longer be necessary for me to have the Teams Activate source. The program will automatically open sample. Right now copy the live ID, which is the one on the right, Control C, and where it asks me for the video ID, I press Control V and press OK. After doing this, I'm going to press Activate Source, which means Activate Source. The program will automatically open the chat window for me. It will no longer be necessary for me to have the chat window open. I'm going to close it, and that's it with the following social networks: Twitch, Kick, Insta. The specific name of my streaming. For example, I can copy, or I could just Control V and press OK. After doing this, I'm going to press Activate Source, which means Activate Source. The program will automatically open the chat window for me, which means Activate V and press OK. After doing this, I'm going to press
For Windows,
Activate Source. I press, which is the one on the right, Control C, and where it, although I could just copy I can copy the entire URL from here with Control C. Although I could just copy the live ID, which is the one on the right, Control C, and where it asks me for the video ID, I press Control V and press OK. After doing this, I'm going to press Activate Source, which means Activate Source. The program will, which is the one on the right, click on Select Live Broadcasts, or I could also click on Auto Activate here so that it activates automatically as soon as I open the program. The next option would be to search for a specific video from my YouTube channel. In this case I would have to find the specific name of my streaming. For example, right now this gossip show from Peru is live. I can copy the entire URL from here with Control C, although I could just copy the live ID, which is the one on the right, Control C, and where it asks me for the video ID, I press Control V and press OK. After doing this, I'm going to press Activate Source. From here, I can simply click on Select Video from my. For example, right now this gossip show from Peru is live. I can copy the entire URL from here with Control C. Press activate social networks to social stream unifies all the chat. Go back to social stream Ninja, right? In the highlights, find this first link where all the, but the next, I already have my on it. And as you can see, the YouTube, Kick and Tick.
Bubbles love.
Nothing be
Mole people. We are all being turned into mole people by use of our telephones. Are you familiar, Brum? For real? It's a really good question. For real. For real. That's the only explanation I can come up with, is the fact that society has us staring at our phones so much that the blue, red lights, yellow lights, any real unnatural light is designed to callous your eyes, forming you into a new evolution of species called the mole people. And there'll be dwellers on top. Well, you will be king of the new world, CT, or queen. But you will be royalty. And the top dwellers, who are essentially going to be billionaires with robots and no friends, will wage war on us who burrow underground and worship the core. So, brace yourself. We will be a divine species, but we will no longer worship the sun, we will worship the core. We worship the core. And that's, if there's ever a reason to stay off your phone, that might be it, but either you become a surface dweller well, there's quantum leaps in evolution these days, Brum. And so they think of 3 major stages that occur to create quantum leaps in human development. So what occurs is you have people pace at a certain pace towards their evolutionary goals over millions of years, and then an cosmic event occurs, and this creates a quantum leap in evolution. Well, Nicole, this is Nicholas. That connection you're feeling means that you're connected to people. You're part of the solution, not the problem. Because if you feel that, if you feel drawn to the core, it means that you are drawn to people. Surface dwellers are friendless robot enthusiasts who will end up with artificial friendships and create tyranny for us who are bound together by our mole nature. If you think we're platypuses, you're ridiculous. I don't think we're platypuses. Tiny, I think we're eventual mole people. But thank you for adding to the conversation. And if I'm a mole person and you're my cuz, that makes you a mole person too. It's exciting times. So Brum, the example of quantum leaps in evolution occur when cosmic events happen. So when you think of us evolving from the sea into earth-dwelling primates, what occurred was the first conscious thought, which was to tie a knot, or to create the first tool. It might have been tying a knot, it might have been hitting a stone like a hammer, but the first utility of conscious thought created a quantum leap in the evolution of the brain. So it went from animal instinct to human utility. That's the first example of quantum leap in evolution. And that's why you see such an extreme change into humans. And then the next proposed quantum leap in evolution is once you commit to interstellar travel, into cosmic travel, so that's to the moon, because you are no longer a planetary species, but sorry, I'm lost for words, so it's a bit late. And then the third leap would be going to another planet, which would make us an interplanet species. So. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, that took survival pressure. I can't see how survival pressure would apply to this. So imagine you removed all need and necessity for survival pressure. What is going to occur out of that? And that's a really interesting question. And something quite unexpected. So when you lose all reliance on survival pressures, you're forced into the utility of human construction, and then you're exposed to lights, your eyes callous, you get less sunlight, you stay in artificial rooms, and then a de-evolution of some description occurs, a reversion. Yeah, so this is a forced human production of evolution. So this is designed by technology, evolution pressured by manipulation. Oh, Brum, I hope you sleep so well. Thank you for stopping by. You have a wonderful thought process, and I appreciate you coming. You take care, Brum. Sweetest dreams to you, my friend. And so, it might be crazy theories like that, but we all end up in an environment of our choosing. And when you realize that you are literally the creator of all things that occur around you, you realize how strong and powerful you are as a single individual human entity, which is extraordinary. Because what that means is that you can create whatever environment you so choose to, with ease, a lot of ease. Hey Sam, how are you tonight? It's me, Mr. Anderson. Stop supporting AI, please, it wastes water. Pom, can you expand on that, please? Yeah, Pom, can you please expand on that? It wastes water. computers and technology, sometimes systems of it can overheat. Water is used to cool it down. Excellent. And then water is just gone off the face of the earth. Is that how that works? When you say wastes water, if it keeps getting used, it's just removed as matter. Water evaporates, right? Absolutely. Just into nothing. Invisible. I like you, Pom. You're fun. It's funny when you say support AI as well, like AI requires our support. It's far too more powerful than we know. Do you know the courtesy fishing? I feel as if our minds are more powerful than we know. Do you know the... Oh, I'm glad you did. I believe that the mind is very powerful. I think the mind is a powerful trickster. I think that you first must skip the tricks of the mind. Hello, Joe. Thank you so much. This picture's for you, Joe. Hope you're well. Oh, that's cool, Coda. Please finish your thought. Please start again. I think it was really interesting. I'd love to hear the end of it. I love talking about the power of the mind. Sounds really cool. Feel free to commission artists that do art for free. It really helps humans advance with dreams. Well, Pom, I draw, and I'm an artist of some description. I would happily use any tool at my disposal to create what I feel like. Yeah, I mean, you can ask Joe. We've drawn on this live thing many a time. Feel free to ask people instead of using AI in the future times. I don't know what you're requesting. Are you talking about the mole people specifically? The mole people image that I'm using? Yeah, Joe, almost always drawing. I've got a pen in hand right now. Yes, okay, Pom, I apologize to anyone who has been artistically destroyed by my use of the mole people image. I'm sure there's an artist out there beating a garbage can right now, looking for a meal. It's a terrible life. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a fair point, Pom. Thank you. You believe in mole people. I believe in the future of mole people. I believe that it's an eventuation. The Republic of Galicia will attest to this. We worship the core. Here we worship the core. And so Coda, I think our minds are unfathomably powerful. I think just the fact that your mind is tethered to your senses shows the pure disillusion of reality. You can't perceive without going through your mind, and your mind races in a million directions, and it's expandable. I couldn't agree more, Coda. I think that the mind is infinitely powerful, or the only power driver that we know. Worship the core. Wait, Tilly, what's the core? The Earth's core. Thanks, Joe. Fielding the early day questions. I appreciate it. De-evolution or like a type of people. So Killstar, basically the concept is behind an artificial takeover, desired manipulation over us as humans. And it all starts with our phones. So it's using psychological techniques against you. Your personal psychological stances, your more primitive stances are used against, primitive instincts are used against you. This is how algorithms are built. So this is why technology trumps us and manipulates us, and the propaganda occurs. And what that means is you stare at your phone constantly, and as you stare at your phone over a long period of time, you get less sunlight, you get outside less. The blindness will occur in humans a lot more prominently, a lot earlier, and you'll get calloused and you become a mole person. Oh, someone requested to join. And I missed it. I don't know how to use this. I've never used multi-guest, but I'm happy to have a guest. Oh, Zane, you jumped out. We could have had it all, Zane. So you'd be lucky, Killstar, to become a mole person yourself. Otherwise, you'll become a surface dweller. And what that means is that you will lose all sociability. You'll have a feed. Hey, Zane. You'll have a feedback loop that's occurring from technology, your robot friends that will not be like real, like a real sociability. And the true heroes will be those who revert to tunneling and worshipping the core. How do I feel about AI? I don't, Killstar. That's a really big question. I'm curious how to break that down. In what context, I would ask. Zane, are you going to jump in? Let's figure out what's real together. We dig down. We worship the core, Joe. We worship the core. Let me propose a question to you. Would you prefer a life unified with millions of people just like you, or would you live alone with technology and abundance but never have sociability? Because that is the choice between being a surface dweller or a mole. I mean, if I were to dig to the core, wouldn't I be digging to the sun? If I were to dig to the core, wouldn't I be digging to the sun? Yeah, you would be getting closer to, were you getting closer to the warmth? Yes. Yeah, Killstar will consider yourself one of the chosen few. An evolutionary life towards being one of the mole people. It's exciting. To choose that is to choose the collective and worship the core. And Joe, endlessly with the accuracy. It's good to have further developed Malthusiasts with us. Well, the theory is simple, Zane. It's an acceptance of the belief that conspiracy doesn't end with a single narrative of what has once happened, but it in fact is something that occurs moving forward. And so, what do you think having everyone endlessly staring at a small box in their hand actually represents? When you walk out through public and you look at people staring at this tiny box in their hand, what is the end game there? What do you think the end game could be? Joe and I, control, absolutely. But control of what? The populace? Because nothing controls a populace more than having the populace live underground in the earth and away from the abundance of the surface. Yeah, it's a physical warmth. We worship the core. We worship in the same sense that you could enjoy water or food. Control us and derive us from one true God, brother. Deprive. I'm with you, buddy. I don't know what to call you because I think you're like some kind of fruit or something. Kick rocks. Okay. I haven't slept in 2 days and I'm surviving off energy drinks. What do you recommend I do? Well, if I'm not responsible for my recommendations and you take it more as a friend's opinion rather than advice that must be adhered to, I'm happy to give you my perspective on that. If you haven't slept in 2 days and are surviving off energy drinks, what do I recommend you do? I recommend you keep going. I recommend you see how far you can push this experiment. And I recommend that as an opinion, not as someone who's responsible for your choices. But you keep pushing. Life is just a series of small experiments, so keep going. Exactly. Once you're blinded, you have no need for the sun. You seek nocturnal strategies, but you still crave warmth. And warmth both from people, other mole people, and the core. Yeah, sure, Zane. Let me figure out how. This could get really cool, Zane. Alright, welcome, Zane. Hello, Zane. Hello, let me turn you down just slightly. Zane, what's your age?
You're a fucking dirty nigger, and you need...
Your opinion is a soundbite?
You're a fucking dirty nigger. You're a fucking dirty nigger. You're a fucking dirty nigger.
That's not an opinion, Zane. You can do better than that.
Wait, I got a question.
Are you 18?
Pardon?
Are you 18?
Yeah.
Are you actually?
Yes.
What's your age? buddy?
43.
43.
I just pulled up a voice chat.